Kansas and Missouri meet in Allen Fieldhouse. Hear all the action right here on the home of the Jayhawks. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
KU wins. The Jayhawks came from 9.
We got 1 minute.
Breaking the Norm is powered by TruckMovers.com. Since 1983, the nation's leading truck manufacturers and dealers have trusted TruckMovers.com to move their vehicles. From one truck to a fleet of thousands, used equipment, or finished vehicles straight from the factory, TruckMovers.com has the capacity to get it done safely and efficiently. Their industry-leading technology and web services track your vehicles online so you get real-time reports and metrics, keeping you informed. For a free quote, call 816-861-5444 or visit truckmovers.com today. Nobody moves more trucks. Nobody moves them better. Truckmovers.com.
Ho, 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 it's Steven Santa John here for my friends at Boulevard Brewing Company. Ho, 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 to bring you 12 days of happy holidays. Listen to the Border Patrol for your chance to win great prizes. It's the 12 days of happy holidays on the Border Patrol. Brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company. Ho, 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 ho.
10 seconds.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Got a good show lined up for you today. We've got an interview with Brian Holbert that we're going to play, and Trenton Berry. And we want to thank, who's back there working for us at 810?
Kyle.
Kyle's back there working at 810.
Yeah.
So we want to thank Kyle for working back there at 810 for us, and Todd Surprise right here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, flipping all the switches, doing all the stuff that he does with the live video each and every week. And how you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing great. You just got back from Indy. You spent a day at the PRI show.
I spent 1 day down there at the PRI show.
And what did you learn in your 1 day at the PRI show, walking around? What's the biggest thing that you came away with?
Well, most people are talking about the high limit in the World of Outlaws.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
what
everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah, and so Rico has announced that he's going to run full time with the High Limit Series.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and this surprises a lot of people. And in a way, I am surprised, but in other ways, I'm not. When you understand what great friends Rico is with both Kyle and Brad,
right?
You can kind of understand, why he would latch on to one series or the other. And the other reason would be, and we haven't had a chance to talk to Rico for a while, tried to get a hold of him here over the last couple of weeks, but he's getting ready to go to Australia, so I'm not sure we'll be able to talk to him before he heads to Australia. But he talked with Jeremy Elliott of Sprint Car Unlimited and talked about why he is doing what he is doing. And he said, and I quote, "I think that what they are doing is very important to our industry. What they've been doing internally behind the scenes that not everybody sees with the safety team and understanding of the charter side of the business with the revenue share, those are the major things that have potential and can grow and the high limit to a bigger level." Now, this is the first time that we've really seen anything said about the charter system, so this would be kind of like NASCAR with their ownership and revenue sharing. It appears that High Limit Flow are going to share video revenue with these teams, and that's not necessarily the case with the World of Outlaw drivers, right?
Right, yeah, no doubt.
So that's a little bit different twist that we haven't heard about what they're going to offer these teams that sign up for the High Limit Series.
Well, that is a great incentive.
Yeah.
To share some of the revenue that Flow is going to get from the High Limit Series with the teams. I think that's pretty good. A pretty good plan for them, because Dirt Vision doesn't give anybody any money, right?
No, it's just tow money. They've increased the tow money, and they've also increased the bonus money if you run their full series. But I haven't heard any talk of revenue sharing from Dirt Vision, which is owned by the World Racing Group, which owns the World of Outlaws. That's all in one camp. I haven't heard talk about dividing up the video revenue with the Dirt World of Outlaw drivers.
Right.
But we're hearing it with the high limit drivers, and you and I know as well as anybody, Flow Racing's got a lot of resources.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's a big company.
We
know that.
That is a very big company right there. So, as we know, Kirk, as we sold the rights to the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout to Flow, and we were very blessed to be able to get that thing done with Flow. And we did it for the first year. We did the broadcast for them.
Yeah, we worked for Flow the first year they had it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, let's be honest here. Flow Racing, I think, got a lot more money than World Racing Group.
I'm not going to get into the amount of money that the difference between Dirt Vision and Flow. I'm not going to get in there, because I believe that Dirt Vision has done very well for themselves over the years.
Well, you said this many times.
Right.
You think the production quality of Dirt Vision is better than Flow Racing.
I think
you said that.
Now, listen, we got to see what they bring, what Flow brings to the High Limit Series for this year.
Now, we've seen great broadcasts on Flow Racing from Eldora Speedway, a lot of the Dirt Late Model Crown Jewel events. They step it up, and they are on the level of production with Dirt Vision on some of their major events, but not every event on Flow Racing. And I think a lot of it has to do with they've got a lot more content to offer than Dirt Vision.
Well, they have over 2,500 races on Flow. Yeah. Just so you know.
So you can't make everything great
right.
like Dirt Vision can. But
do you think, Kirk?
I think they'll probably step it up in the sprint car
with the High Limit Series.
With the High Limit Series, yeah.
So do you feel that they will step it up enough to where they're equal to Dirt Vision on the High Limit Series? Do you think?
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things on the inside that Rico revealed about what they're offering the ownership that we haven't heard before.
We've got to go with Chase Rodman. Chase Rodman has decided to be the voice of the High Limit Series.
That's big news for us.
That was big news for us. And just so everybody knows, Chase Rodman will be on with us weekly with the High Limit Series as well. And we've also secured Connor Wade, who is going to replace Chase Rodman over there with the World of Outlaws. And he's going to be on our show each and every week as well on Mondays.
Right. And we know Connor Wade very well. He worked for us at the Chili Bowl.
He worked for us, and
great job. He does a great job.
He's very studious. He is a guy that is a lot like Chase Rodman.
Studious,
very studious.
Does his homework. Works hard.
Yeah.
He'll step right in where Chase Rodman left off and do a great job. Now, this is a big deal for Chase Rodman. And anybody that's listened to our show over the last year know he's been a regular contributor to Racing Boys. We've had him on every week. And give us the lowdown of what's happening on the World of Outlaws trail. Now he'll be doing it from the High Limit Series as their main announcer. I'm really happy for Chase that he's gotten this opportunity. This is an opportunity, Scott, he couldn't turn down. He was offered this. I think he had to take it.
I'm not sure if that was the right move for Chase Rodman or not, because to be honest with you, the World of Outlaws were very good to Chase. To be honest with you,
they were, but he was not going to be their main announcer at the World of Outlaws. That Johnny Gibson.
He was never going to be the announcer.
Right. Johnny
there.
Gibson's got that covered, and it doesn't look like Johnny's going to retire anytime soon. So
no, Johnny's not going to retire anytime soon.
It's a big opportunity. I think he's going to get a big bump in pay for being the main announcer, one would assume, from a pit reporter to a main announcer. I'm assuming that High Limit offered him a pretty good deal here. He couldn't refuse.
But I've got to say this about Connor Wade. Connor Wade is as studious as anybody when it comes to whatever he does in broadcasting. Yep. He is so studious, and he does such a good job. And I believe that Connor Wade is going to do an excellent job over there with the World of Outlaws.
He'll hit the ground running. And he'd already been working for Dirt Vision over there. He was doing the pit reporting for the Hell Tour and the Extreme Midget Series. So he'll step right in and keep it on.
And what I believe, you know that Chase Rodman, he did a lot of special little packages, and I believe that they're going to be able to do that with Connor Wade. He's going to be doing that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. So Connor Wade,
little special packages where they do these little packages. Yeah. Right.
They didn't waste any time naming Connor Wade the pit reporter for the World of Outlaws when Chase Rodman was announced as the main announcer for High Limit.
I think it's a great hire, really, to be honest with you. Connor Wade is as good as they get, really, to be honest with you.
The big question is, who's going to help Chase Rodman on the Flow Racing broadcast? Who's going to be the pit reporter for Flow Racing? So he's not going to be the only voice on there, so it'll be interesting to see how that all works out.
Maybe I'll put in an application.
You want to get back out on the road?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind getting back out on the road.
Yeah, you do a good job with that. For some reason, I don't think they're going
to. Listen, Kirk.
I don't think they're going to call. You're not going to be their first call.
The brain. It's a no-brainer. Nobody wants old dudes. They all want the young people now.
Yep.
Right. Everybody that's in our industry that does live pay-per-view is a young person now. Right. They don't want us old farts. They don't want us.
I'm thinking somebody like Georgia Henneberry or somebody like that. She's out there.
Well, I'm not sure that she would. Do you think she'd leave the World of Outlaws?
Well, Georgia Henneberry's already been working for Flow and doing a lot of different things. She did a lot of pit reporting for the All-Stars last year. So
yeah,
she's already been doing flow
racing
stuff. So she'd be the first person to come to my mind. So we'll see what they do there. But right now, here are the drivers for High Limit Racing: Brad Sweet, Casey Kane, Jacob Allen, Corey Eliason, Zeb Wise, Justin Peck, and now Corey Day has been announced as a full-time driver. It was first announced earlier in the week that he was just going to run the 11-race midweek tour, but now
he's going to run full-time.
The full High Limit Series, and Brennan Crouch is the other full-time driver.
Listen, Corey Day is an exceptional driver, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him battling for that championship with Brad Sweet. Would you?
And Rico would be the
Rico is another guy
that would challenge for that championship for sure. So, and Jacob Allen, don't count him out.
Yeah.
So, those are the drivers for High
Justin
Limit.
Peck, really.
Yeah.
You can't count him out because he's a very talented driver as well.
That's a pretty solid group of full-timers so far, and there's more to come. What's Brent Marks going to do? What's Tyler Courtney going to do? And we're still waiting on what Carson Macedo and Phil Dietz is going to do. They've not announced which direction they're going to go.
Right.
Here are the full-time World of Outlaw drivers so far: David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield, Logan Schuart, Dominic Selzy, Brock Zierfoss, Landon Crawley, who's the new driver for Jason Sides in that 7-car, replacing Robbie Price, Bill Rose, and now Donnie Schatz has announced that he's going to continue on with the World of Outlaws next year.
Well, that was a no-brainer, right? I think that Tony Stewart is very loyal to the World of Outlaws. Don't you think so?
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised about that.
I'm not surprised about
I think Donnie Schatz probably made that call more than even Tony Stewart.
Right.
I think Tony would have been good wherever Donnie Schatz wanted to race.
And just so you know, all these stories are up on racingboys.com, right, Kurt?
Right.
Every one of these stories that we've just talked about are on racingboys.com. And if you don't know, we have a new website, and you need to get over there and take a look at it. It's really user-friendly, isn't it, Kurt?
Yeah, it's we've updated it here over the last couple of months, and we're still efforting on getting all of our video library up there, including past Chili Bowls and so forth, so we're still working on that. And the content, $6.50 per month for all our video content.
Right.
We'll be adding some new things in 2024 as part of the membership section, so we'll be working on that as we go.
Well, we'll probably go out and do a little bit of local racing here, maybe a little bit.
We are?
Maybe. Maybe.
You just kind of brainstorm these things right on the air here, don't you?
Right. Well, the problem is that we're not going out. We're not traveling on the road anymore.
We're still going to a lot of local races.
We're going to go to some local races.
A lot of high limit races in our neighborhood too next year.
Listen, I'm telling you right now. You think about Lake Ozark Speedway, Lucas Oil Speedway, I-70, and Lakeside. The only racetrack that the World of Outlaws are going to be coming to is at US 36, right?
In our Kansas City immediate area.
Right, right.
Or you got to go to Knoxville to watch the World of Outlaws. And if you go to Knoxville to watch the World of Outlaws, you're likely going to get a lot of high limit drivers there because high limit is not scheduling up against any of the 3 World of Outlaws events at Knoxville this year, including the Knoxville National.
You know what's so curious is to me is that they take the entire month of March off. Isn't that crazy?
I guess they figure why bother to schedule races if they're all going to get rained out. Now, World of Outlaws got a full month of events in the month of March. We'll see how many of them they get in. So a lot of people worry about the weather in the month of March, no matter if you're in Texas, in the South, or wherever you're at.
Yeah.
It can be troublesome, there's no doubt. So we'll see if that's a good call by the World of Outlaws to schedule all those races in March. And the high limit, they're not going to race from late February to early April.
Yeah, Kaylee Bryson is going to be running full-time with the USAC and Silver Crown. How about that?
And she's also going to be running some Trans Am races next year. So that's a little bit of pavement action there for Kaylee.
Well,
it's
about time, really.
Looks like Jade Abedishian's also going to run a pavement road racing tour along with her more limited midget opportunities next year. Hey, I'm just going to get back, just finish up the sprint car stuff going on. We talked about Carson Macedo. He's not announced. He and Phil Dietz, they've not announced
where they're going
to go next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most people assume they're going to be World of Outlaws next year. I'm not so sure about that. If you look at Carson Macedo's Twitter page, he put a post up there on December the 1st, a poll. Who's got the better schedule in your opinion? Well, High Limit was voted 60.3%, World of Outlaws 39.7%. Now, Carson Macedo put that poll up there. What do you think? Who's got the better schedule? Well, in this poll, High Limit's got a better schedule. Then Carson puts another tweet up on December 6th. That would have been Wednesday. He said, the competition in me is pumped for World of Outlaws versus High Limit racing battles all year long this year. What a time to be in the sport of sprint car racing.
That tells me he's going World of Outlaws.
I don't know what to read
Listen,
into that.
They have more dates, right? The World of Outlaws has more dates. How many dates do they have? Probably about 80 or 90.
Yeah. But if you're a high limit driver.
And if you're a high limit driver, you're only going to get about 50, right?
Yeah, but if you're a high limit driver, you're going to run much more than that because remember, you're free as a high limit driver to
run
with
as
the
World
many
of
other
Outlaws
races as you want to run. So you can still run the high limit series and show up at all the crown jewel events.
Let me ask you this,
the World
Kurt.
of Outlaws still sanctions.
Let me ask you this. do you think the World of Outlaws are going to have a problem with the high limit drivers coming over there and running with the World of Outlaws when they show up? Do you think they will?
I don't think they'll like it much, but how can you turn down drivers that will come and run your events?
Right.
Why would you want to turn anybody away from your events? And if you're a promoter, if you're the Marion County Fair Board and you're a promoter, why would you want anybody to turn anybody away that wants to come run your events? That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, it wouldn't, but I'm telling you, the World of Outlaws is going to be a little raw over that.
Well, they already are raw over all of this.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So how's it all going to play out? Buckle in. It's going to be fun to watch. You and we've got no dog in the hunt. We're just watching what's going on.
Hey, listen. The fact is that we're going to go to a lot of these races around this area, right?
Yeah. And we're going to have both Connor Wade from the World of Outlaws and Chase Rodman to talk about it every week. So
every week.
You know, we'll bring them on. They'll give us a lowdown on all of it.
Connor Wade is committed to us to be on every week with us. Chase Rodman, I talked to him. He's committed to being on every week with us. So we're going to have the World of Outlaw pit reporter, and we're going to have the voice of the High Limit Series, Chase Rodman. He's going to be joining us on the show.
I guess the big question is, are the fans going to be shortchanged by all this? I don't know. They're still going to see high-level drivers in both series, at least this year.
Right.
But how's it going to play off a year from now, 2 years from now?
Hey, Kirk, when they go west, that's when they're going to have the problem.
Well, there's $200,000 to win shows on the High Limit Series out west. One at the Gold Cup and the other one at Skagit Speedway.
Yep.
So they'll still draw a pretty good number of drivers out there.
All right. We're going to have to take a break. When we come back, more of Track Talk right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back with more in a moment right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Not many handicappers have been in the business for 30 years. Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports starts his 30th year, and he's amazingly won 28 of the last 29 years with his on-the-money football selections. As a token of appreciation to all the listeners and potential new clients, he's giving away a best bet free play. Go to ParamountSports.com, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and fill out a free pick sign-up and start winning today. Are you all in? Check out Lee Sterling at ParamountSports.com.
Season's greetings from Pizza Shop. This year, we have more to offer than just our delicious Kansas City-style pizzas. For a limited time, we'll give you a free king-size pizza when you buy them a gift card worth $25 or more. Visit pizzashop.com to find a pizza shop nearest you.
Listen weekly to The Zone from 10 to 2 for your chance to win gift cards to Pizza Shop, Kansas City's original pizza place with 11 area locations. Be the 8th caller when Jason and Josh announce it's time, and you'll win from Pizza Shop. Listen and win with Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brian Radke here from Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. It's an NFC East showdown in Texas this week as Dak Prescott and the 9-3 Cowboys meet Jalen Hurts and the 10-2 Eagles. Philly won the first meeting, but is coming off a tough loss to the 49ers. The Cowboys look to even the season series and join the Eagles atop the division. Join Mike Golick and me for all the action. Eagles at the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Can you feel the seasons change in your muscles and your bones? It's a scientifically proven fact that as our bodies adapt to cold weather, muscle contraction increases and oxygen supply to your muscles decreases, leading to muscle pain and stiffness. Let the practitioners at Stretch Zone keep you from feeling like the Tin Man with their stretching services to increase blood flow, decrease pain and stiffness while improving your flexibility and range of motion. Stretch Zone can keep you moving. Check out one of the 6 KC locations today at StretchZone.com.
Holidays on the Country Club Plaza at Rye is Kansas City perfection. Plan your next event in one of their 2 private rooms at Rye. Their team will coordinate your custom menu, provide beautiful ambiance, and exceptional hospitality for the season of lights. Contact their event manager at plazaevents@rykc.com to get started planning. Rye Restaurant, locally owned, chef-inspired, Midwestern comfort food. rykc.com.
Looking for that perfect gift for that hard-to-shop-for friend or family member? Do what I do. Send the gift of competition, Kansas City barbecue, and let Joe's Kansas City deliver the gift that will stand out from all the rest. I'm talking about Joe's ribs, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man can all be sent anywhere in the United States. Choose from their pre-selected kits or go ahead and build your own. Then let Joe's handle the rest. Check out all their smoked meats, wonderful side dishes, and even desserts. They're online right now at joeskc.com. That's joeskc.com.
30
Merry
seconds.
Christmas and happy holidays from Family Leisure. Come to Family Leisure so we can make your holiday shopping easy. We are your one-stop shop for incredible deals on hot tubs, arcade games, theater seats, grills, massage chairs, and much more in stock and ready to go. Come in for your Chiefs fan to see our inventory of Chiefs clocks, banners, and area rugs. Decorate your game room with our dartboards, gaming chairs, pool, and shuffleboard tables. Mention A10 and save more at Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
Awesome.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 23 years Kirk and I have been on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's been a long run, hasn't it, Kirk?
Pushing that silver anniversary.
We're pushing for the silver anniversry. 25 years.
I'll probably still be around when that happens.
I think I'll be around. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
I'm not thinking about retiring anytime soon. No. I'm planning on. We've got such a good studio down here at RBN, the Race Boys Broadcasting Network, that I'm not sure that I'll ever quit doing podcasts. I might never stop doing it.
It's too much fun.
It's too much fun.
Hey, I just want to clarify. To be honest, I don't know how much money any of these players had. We don't know.
Right.
All I can tell you is Flow Racing's got a lot of resources.
They got a lot of money.
We know that.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be a big battle, unlike anything that we have seen before. We've seen challenges to the World of Outlaws before. This is different. You'd agree with that, Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is different because there's a lot more money at play. The challenger coming in to the supremacy of the World of Outlaws. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I just don't want the fans to get shortchanged in all this, that's for sure. Well, there's one event that fans do not ever get shortchanged. That's the Chili Bowl. That's coming up soon. What are we, about a month away?
Yeah, about a month away.
Tulsa Shootout coming up, starting, the day after Christmas? So there's one guy that knows a lot about all of that.
You're better with the dates than I am.
Yeah. Well, it's between Christmas and New Year's, the Tulsa Shootout.
Right.
That's a big event. But there's one guy that knows more about this event than anything. Well, both events, Tulsa Shootout and Chili Bowl. That's Brian Holbert. He's the voice of both events, and we had him on Monday on Mostly Motorsports to give us a preview of not only the Chili Bowl, but the ASCS. We'll hear from him about the ASCS a little bit later on in the show, but right now he gives a little bit of a preview coming up, what's going to be happening indoors in Tulsa, Oklahoma over the next month. And here's a portion of that interview we had with Brian Holbert from earlier this week.
Brian, how you doing, bud?
Doing all right. More focused on small cars and big cars these days.
Now, so let's start off by talking about the Chili Bowl a little bit. I noticed that there was 140 cars that have checked in, but we know that number is going to increase to somewhere over 300 cars, right?
It's 172 as of today. In fact, before you called, I was working on getting all that in the website. So we're about on pace with the rate that the entries came in last year.
Yeah, no doubt.
it won't be long if you start putting the track in, the Expo Center. Got the Tulsa Shootout, the Chili Bowl coming up, Brian. We touched on a little bit about the entries coming in for the Chili Bowl. Let's talk about Shootout. Any big changes for the big event coming up right after Christmas?
Other than it's ended on a Sunday this year, about every 10 years or so, the calendar rolls around to where we race on a Sunday, and this be one of them. And it's interesting because we're not racing in 2024, but it is the 2024 event, and that happens about every 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting trying to explain to people like, no, this is really the 2024 event. It just happens to end on New Year's Eve. Next year, the calendar will correct itself, and we'll be splitting New Year's like normal. But the pace that the entries are coming in for the shootout is mind-boggling.
How many do you have so far, Brian?
It's over it was 1339.
Wow.
I found out the press
already.
Like 1339. So to put that into perspective, last year we were 7 entries off of the overall record at the event. But we had over 1,600 drivers, like 1,665, that drew in. That was a new record for entries that were actually tallied, and yes, we are racing.
Right.
When we cut off on December 15th last year, when we cut off the pre-entry prior to the event, we were 1530-something.
Wow. Do you think
we're already almost there?
Do you think we'll break the record this year?
We're on record watch.
Right.
Because the deadline for discounted entry was last week. And when Matt left here, he had a stack in his hand of entries that he had written out that looked like War and Peace.
Wow.
Can you get all those entries inside the building?
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because the good thing is you'll have a guy that enters 4 classes, but it's 1 car.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt. So ends on a Sunday this year, and the Chili Bowl, we see that Logan Seavey is going to be back driving for Kevin Swindell again this year, right?
Yeah, I know there was some question about that because he'd been driving for Abacus, but I mean you got to dance with the one that brung you. What him and Kevin and Jordan did last year was amazing. Their first year as car owners, and with Kevin's experience to come in, and with Jordan supporting him like that, to come in and pull off a win, it was just incredible.
Yeah, no doubt.
And not only that, Kevin came in as a champion car owner for the shootout with Gavin Bochelle.
Yeah, no doubt.
So he may not be racing, but that doesn't mean he's not winning drillers.
Right. The only bummer is that Rico's going to be over in Australia racing, and Kyle Larson, he's decided that he's not going to come back to the Chili Bowl. He's going to go do some late model racing. How much is that a factor into bringing people into the Expo Center?
Hard to tell. I mean, if you want to race, you can race. Rico has wanted to go to Australia forever, and to finally get the opportunity to do that, absolutely. But he'll be back.
He'll be back to Chili Bowl. Sure.
No doubt. He's not. Rico is a man of the fans. He's a racer's racer.
Right.
If you want to go run late models, go run late models. That's fine.
This opens up opportunities for other people to win the Chili Bowl.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, the race last year, okay, so if other players are in the game, does Logan win the race?
Right.
But at the same time, as determined as they were, I don't know if anybody was going to beat them.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So Tanner Thorson, Logan Seavey, and Sammy would be the 3 former champions that would be there this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, no
There's
doubt.
I think somebody new is going to win this year. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that Justin Grant has the best chance to win this year.
I feel like every year coming in, Justin's right there, and
Right.
it always goes back to it's the 5-cent part that screws you.
Right, no doubt.
I feel like that he's been snake bit by that, but he's due. I feel like that Chili Bowl luck has to swing around and finally pay off for him. I'm hoping.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think he gets it.
If there's anybody in that building I feel like has been so close but so far, in the last 5 years with him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Justin Grant has a really good opportunity to win this year, Kirk. What do you think?
No question about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's won the other big crown jewel events, the BC 39 and Turkey Night Grand Prix over the last year, so Chili Bowl would be next, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And it's kind of ironic that the two big players at the USAC banquet last night, the two big stars of the show, were Justin Grant and Logan Seavey.
And, it's kind of a bummer that Christopher Bell can't run the Chili Bowl. Isn't that kind of a bummer? Don't you think?
Do you think that he, if it were given his choice, because Christopher kind of lets on like, well, it's kind of my decision. I need to focus in on what I'm doing with NASCAR, or is it?
That dude,
I think he's totally focused on NASCAR right now.
He's totally focused on NASCAR, but that dude's an Oklahoma guy, and
he wants to win that Chili Bowl.
He wants to be there because if you're an Oklahoma kid growing up in Oklahoma, there's nothing more than you want is to have as many drillers on your mantle as you. And so I agree with both of what you're saying. Yeah, he's going to play by whatever rules that the boss man is going to. And he's focused on NASCAR to get as many. He wants to be the champion in NASCAR.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's where he's driven.
And he's going to be the champion.
Oh, he will be.
He'll eventually be a champion.
Yeah,
eventually. Yeah, he came so close this year, didn't he?
Yeah, he made the Final Four a year ago too. So yeah, he's going to be a champion. I ended up watching the NASCAR banquet on Peacock, tape delayed version.
Right.
We should have been able to talk about this last week, but hats off to Ryan Blaney. Great speech he gave. It's one of the better championship speeches I've seen. The way he delivered it, I thought was just terrific. So if you get the Peacock Network, you want to back and touch on that. But also, his dad, Dave Blaney, got a lot of airtime during that speech as well. He talked about his dad a lot, Dave Blaney, and how he learned how to race from his dad, who was the World of Outlaw champion himself, and he teared up when he started talking about his grandfather, Lou Blaney, who was a legendary driver himself. And I thought it was really cool that Ryan Blaney, who never drove a sprint car that I can remember, he grew up around sprint car racing, and he learned from his dad, and he really threw it out there to both these parents last night, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
A week ago Thursday is when the banquet was. But.
So you think it was one of the better speeches that you've heard?
Yeah, and the way he delivered it, a lot of them are canned. They're reading off a teleprompter. They don't do a very good job.
Did he ad-lib? Did he ad-lib?
Pretty much ad-libbed that. He had some notes he was working off too, but it was really, really good the way he did that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get to watch.
Hats off to Ryan Blaney.
I didn't watch it.
Is there a more... I know Chase Elliott gets the most popular driver of the award every year, but
Ryan Blaney's got to be getting close.
Is there anybody that hates Ryan Blaney or doesn't like? Everybody likes Ryan Blaney, don't they?
I think everybody does.
And we've had him on our show a couple of times. Couldn't be a more cool guy.
Right.
He's just a great guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And that would be a tribute to his parents, right?
Well, listen. You think about the history of the Blaney family. His uncle, his dad, they're great sprint car drivers. And still, maybe even now, are still really good sprint car drivers, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Dave is still out there driving a sprint car every now and then.
Yeah.
And he won a feature here over the last year.
Where did he win that feature at, Kirk? Do you know?
I think it was Sharon Speedway, wasn't it?
Sharon Speedway?
That's home ground.
Mm-hmm.
And Dale Blaney, he hasn't driven a sprint car for a while, though, has he? Or a couple of years? I haven't seen Dale Blaney in a sprint car.
No, I think he officially retired.
Yeah.
Don't you believe he?
But he was a great driver.
But how many championships did he win?
All-Star champion
with the All-Star
multiple times.
He won the All-Star championship
I'm not sure
many
there's
times.
a driver that's won more All-Star championships than Dale Blaney.
Right.
I'd have to look that up. But it was just really a cool thing to watch. Ryan talk about his family, his heritage growing up around, watching his dad racing, and where he's at today. It's that to me is the epitome of just what it's all about with racing. He gets it.
Right.
He didn't grow up with the silver spoon in his mouth. He learned it
the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He learned it the right way.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, great championship event because it was Ryan Blaney that won the title.
Right.
And, it's kind of amazing. He had a bad summer. There was like 2-3 months last summer he didn't really run well at all. Nobody was thinking about him last July being a champion.
Right.
But it was only until he won at Talladega that everybody thought, okay, wait a minute, here's Ryan Blaney. And then he wins again, and then he does what he did at Phoenix. So,
yep, no doubt about it.
Great job.
Ryan Blaney is going to be a great champion for the sport.
Yeah, he's going to represent
Yeah,
NASCAR
he's going to
pretty
represent him well, right? Kirk, let's talk about what's going to happen down at the Gateway Nationals, man. That thing's coming up here pretty quick.
Next weekend.
Yeah.
They got over 200 entries.
Right.
Total in both
is that late models?
I think that's both late models and modifieds. So that starts, next Thursday?
I'm thinking about going down there.
Well, it's only 4 hours down the road. Why not? You just drove 8 hours to Indianapolis.
I just drove straight through there.
You drove right by there coming back the other day.
Right, I did.
Going and coming. So they got the track, I think, it looks like from some of the pictures, they've got the track already installed inside the Dome at America Center, so they're ready to go to it. There's some, if you look down through the entry list of some of the late model drivers, Bobby Pierce, who we had on here a couple of weeks ago, Tyler Erb, who won this race last year after his dad died, and Hudson O'Neal's going to be driving a Boom Briggs car during this event this year, and there's a host of other drivers. That Jimmy Owens, we see him on the list. And that's a pretty large list of late model drivers, Scott. But modifieds also, and I imagine most of the modifieds are going to be the UMP variety that normally races in that area.
Right,
out there,
no doubt.
So Flow Racing will be carrying all that if you're not able to make it out there.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back with more right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Ryan Radke here from Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. It's an NFC East showdown in Texas this week as Dak Prescott and the 9-3 Cowboys take on Jalen Hurts and the 10-2 Eagles. Philly won the first meeting, but is coming off a tough loss to the 49ers. The Cowboys, meanwhile, look for a 15th straight home win that would also put them right back in the division race. Join us on Sunday Night Football.
Right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
O'Reilly. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Holiday Gift Guide is here. If you're struggling with gift ideas, we have several options for gifts under $20, like a digital tire gauge, screwdriver sets, LED work lights, and more. Our professional parts people will help you pick out the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy-for person. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Wendy's Peppermint Frosty and Frosty Cream Cold Brew make the perfect gift for anyone in your life. Especially for you. Yeah, this year you're sitting on your own lap and getting yourself what you want. Finally. And now every day this season, unlock 20% off your total when you get any small, medium, or large Frosty in the Wendy's app. So order something from your own wish list this year.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's with app offer and registration. Applies to menu items only. Taxes and fees excluded.
Hey guys,
Are you ready to score a touchdown with the best Christmas gift for your special someone? Pajamagram's famous Naturally Nude pajamas will make you a holiday hero. So good that they sell out every year. Naturally Nude pajamas are known for ultimate comfort and style. Soft, silky, better than lingerie with a curve caressing fit. And here's the kicker. When you order Naturally Nude pajamas today, you'll get a free Naturally Nude nightie. That's $75 in savings on a very luxurious 2-in-1 complete gift. Better yet, with Pajamagram, you can even add gift packaging. If you ask me, that's one easy holiday gift that's sure to make her happy. Listen, we all know how good it feels to win. So why not win this Christmas? Hurry, go to Pajamagram today for Naturally Nude pajamas before they sell out. That's Naturally Nude pajamas at Pajamagram. And be sure to tell them SSJ sent you.
It's time to kick the season off with the Kansas City Ballet's spectacular production of The Nutcracker, presented by Bank of America. The Mouse King, the toy soldiers, and the beautiful dancers all swirl together in an unforgettable performance. It all takes place on the Muriel Kaufman stage at the Kaufman Center in downtown Kansas City, December 1st through Christmas Eve. Buy your tickets directly from Kansas City Ballet for the lowest prices. Order online at kcballet.org.
1 minute.
Shopping? Ulta Beauty has everything I need for everyone on my list. Ready to gift fragrance kits from YSL and Valentino. And the hottest gift sets from MAC, Tarte, and Lancome. Plus, everyone loves an Ulta Beauty gift card. Shop last-minute gifts that will bring joy to everyone on your list. Hurry in store or place your online pickup order today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
30.
Celebrating 60 years as the heartbeat of Kansas City's workforce, City Rent-A-Truck is your trusted partner for commercial truck rentals. Stop paying 100% of the cost of ownership for vehicles you are using less than 50% of the time. With our diverse selection of work-ready, on-demand trucks and vans, you'll have access to the right vehicles right when you need them. And when you're done with your work, just toss us the keys. This is truck rental as it should be. Visit us today at cityrentatruck.com.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Where do we want to go now, Kurt?
Well, I was thinking about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum up there. A lot of people doing a little Christmas shopping, and they've got what you need for your racing
Christmas
lover
presents
in your family.
Yeah, no doubt.
SprintCarStuff.com is the place to go. Check out all of the great items up there. They're working on some remodeling a little bit of the museum up there, painting the walls and putting new flooring in and all this kind of stuff up there.
And they still got the Corvette and the Sprint Car to give away, right?
They do. The Sprint Car will be given away exactly 1 year from now. The Triple X chassis with the Al Parker racing engine, race-ready Sprint Car. And you can get signed up for that at winasprintcar.com to check out all of what that Sprint Car unveils. And you can get signed up for that sweepstakes a year from now. Also, the Torch Red Corvette convertible, the Z06 Corvette with the Z07 performance package, and $25,000 cash to the grand prize winner will be drawn a week after the Knoxville Nationals this year. Go to winaz06corvette.com to get signed up for the beautiful Torch Red Corvette convertible.
That's going to be a convertible, and that's with the Z07 performance package on it as well, right?
And I think they've got this convertible. You'll be able to see this convertible, this Corvette, before you draw for it this year.
Right,
so,
right.
Anyway,
and let me express that there's a lot of merchandise that you can buy from the Hall of Fame store. There's so much going on up there, folks. All you need to do is go to SprintCarStuff.com and purchase your Christmas presents straight from the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, because they've got a lot of great stuff up there, don't they, Kurt?
That's right. And it won't be long before they announce the poll winners of the non-wing, wing 360 and wing 410 poll awards, and the inductees for next year's Hall of Fame. So that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Also, again, want to get this thing in. Monday night, they're going to announce the inductees for the Carb Hall of Fame. That'll be next March.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be posting who the inductees will be. I can't wait for that. So,
are you going to be the MC again this year, Kurt?
I think so. I haven't been formally asked, but I assume so. I hope so.
Yeah.
So,
you've been doing that for how many years now?
I don't know, but we did the very first one, you and I.
Yeah, right.
2004.
They've never asked me back, though.
Why is that, Scott?
Well,
because you were gone. You were out on the road covering ASCS sprint car racing. There was a lot of those events that you weren't able to attend.
You were rarely in town
You were
back
out
in the
of
day.
town.
Oh, I know
it was Todd and I.
Me
that
and
were
Kirk- me and Kirk rolling thunder.
So, are we going to do any kind of broadcasting from that event?
No, we don't do that no more.
We don't do that anymore, right?
We're just
We
going to
had-
show up and have a good time.
We had a lot of issues on our last one when we tried to.
Right.
It wasn't anything in ours. It was all in-house audio problems, and we were just like,
Could we do audio of it?
I think we're going to let Mike Kraft handle that.
Yeah, I think he's doing all
Is
that.
Mike Kraft doing it now?
I don't know.
All right.
But
We'll
they
see
always
what happens.
they posted it last year afterwards, and it was all good.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's
don't
always,
think anybody did it last year.
No, but I think I don't know. I thought I saw some audio from that, maybe not. But yeah, that event was always fun to go out to, and like you said, things were different this year. This year I'm going to be juggling a lot of stuff coming up, so I don't,
You've got a lot going on in your personal life, don't you?
Today I leave to go to Lawrence to the Lead Center for my daughter's graduation, so she's graduating with her
today.
Yes, I got
master's degree,
her
right?
her advanced degree today. So her graduate's degree. So we have that today, and she said she's finished. That's it. No more college for her.
And your son's getting ready to go to college. Right?
Yeah, we just did a big meeting online dorm. So Scotty Cook will like this. He'll probably be
going to MU.
He'll probably be going to MU, and he got accepted into the honors program, which is a pretty big deal. It puts you in the better dorm. That way, you're not dealing with. You don't have to have a roommate. You might not even have a roommate. You might be able to be alone. So, which is pretty cool. And he gets a lot of the advanced stuff out of the way.
But
so,
he's a good kid. He's not going to get into any mischief. Right.
We're knock on wood.
Right.
Just knock on wood. So, but yeah.
Hopefully he's not like his dad.
Yeah, no, we know he's not like
He's a lot more mature at his age than you are even now.
Even now, exactly.
Right.
No. And then we have the big wedding coming in March. So, it doesn't end here in the surprise household, I think me and my wife are going to we might be heading to Key West come Chili Bowl time. Me and my wife are thinking about taking a weekend trip down to Key West.
That is so funny that you
place to be.
So funny that you mentioned that, because Deidre and I have been talking about going down to Key West. We watched this show, 90 Day Fiance, and they had a little episode down there in Key West at a really nice resort, and we were thinking about going down there. But the problem is with the resort is that it's like $500 a night.
Oh, no, it's high. That's why we were talking about we'll just probably do 2 nights and come back home.
And it'd really be worth it if it's snowing back here and bad weather.
We've been our wedding anniversary. We had our 30th wedding anniversary back in September, and we decided, you know what, let's go somewhere warm when it's cold, instead of going somewhere warm when it's already warm here back home. So we're that's our plan. So I think this would be my first Chili Bowl, not taking care of Chili Bowl business. It's either some way or another. So,
well, listen, I plan on going to a lot of races this year.
You and I will be at the Chili Bowl, though.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You guys would probably be down.
Sure. I'd definitely be down at the Chili Bowl.
Hey, I'm just going to finish up this Carb Hall of Fame. If you want to come and see the who the inductees are going to be, they put a post on the Carb Hall of Fame Facebook page. It says, time to determine the 2023 Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame inductees. Please join us Monday, December 11th at 6:30 p.m. at Christie's Clubhouse, 4729 Swartz Road, Kansas City, Kansas. Open to sealed ballots. That's when they're going to open the sealed ballots. Find out who the inductees
That'd be cool.
are. So
yep, no
I'll be
doubt.
down there
That'd be
to
real
check
cool.
that out. Snowball Derby, Scott.
Man.
You saw just some brief highlights. I was able to go back and watch the full replay. I'm disappointed because it was after the fact. We weren't able to come on Monday's show to talk about it because they hadn't posted the archive up there. I was busy on Sunday and wasn't able to watch it live, but I purchased the broadcast for $50 from Racing America, thinking I could go back and watch the replay later that night after the football game. No,
There
wasn't up there yet.
There wasn't a replay.
I sent Racing America an email, and I did get a response back.
You did.
It said, sorry for the delay. You will have access to the replay. We can let you know when it is available. Our on-the-site team is making sure it is perfect before uploading. That was
2
the
minutes.
response that I got.
Ty Majeski ended up winning that thing.
Yeah,
he?
you know, it
the
was
second time he's won it, right?
Second time in 4 years
Right.
he's won it, and it was a great race. There was about 8 laps that Ty Majeski on the outside and Stephen Nassi on the inside were side by side, with some great racing going on with
Right.
Bubba Pollard right behind. Well,
No, it didn't.
Nassi was able to get past Majeski with about 10 laps to go. Bubba Pollard and Nassi got together and took each other out after Majeski had fallen to third. And after that restart, Majeski
Noah
just sped
Gragson
away.
caused a wreck as well, didn't he?
Yeah, with about 30 laps to go, Noah Gragson missed a shift, and he admitted it after the race and piled up about half the field right behind him, including William Byron and Eric Jones got caught up in it. Yeah, Noah Gragson took all the blame for that.
Yeah,
But it was a great race.
1 minute.
And congratulations to Ty Majeski.
Kirk, Hunter Robinson won the Snowflake as well, right?
Yeah, Hunter Robbins. The next day, they had that on Monday.
Right.
Because Saturday's events got wiped out by thunderstorms. And
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all been brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. In hour number 2, again, we are still on the air on Facebook, YouTube. You need to come over there and watch hour number 2. It's a little bit different than hour number 1. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on with the High Limit Series, the World of Outlaws, and more in hour number 2 right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. For Kyle back at Sports Radio 810, for Todd Surprise here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Want to say thank you for everybody.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively.
Thanks, man.
Whether you're
Appreciate
racing at the circle track or drag strip,
You guys have a
rock
good one.
climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not.
Sports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Todd Surprise running the show as he normally does each and every week for us here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. My partner Kirk Elliott. For the last 23 years, we're working on trying to be around for 25 years. That's what we're trying to do. 25 years. Can you imagine that? Can you hear that little bit of a hum? Can you hear that, Todd?
I don't hear a hum. You hear a hum?
I hear a little bit of
it. It's not a big deal.
Huh.
If Todd can't hear it, it's not a big deal.
What? Right.
Man. Let me see if I can adjust it speakers to your headphone over there.
Right. No. Kirk, so what is the plans for do you think the World of Outlaws is going to do you feel that the World of Outlaws is going to cave in to the High Limit Series? Do you feel like that?
In what way do you mean, cave in?
Cave in, like, will they concede to the High Limit Series?
Well, I do believe that when you have competition, and I've said a couple of different times since all this came out, competition's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
If it forces good things to happen on the one side that's being challenged. And I think what's going to end up happening is World of Outlaws are going to end up doing some things that they don't really want to do.
Right.
And I think one of those things that eventually happen is they'll have to open up their restrictions on World of Outlaw drivers, the 4-race restriction where World of Outlaws can go. I think this year it's in place for sure, but down the road, I'm not sure they're going to be able to enforce that after a period of time.
Right.
Do you?
Right. Well, Sheldon says right here, says World of Outlaws won't like High Limit Series running their events, especially their crown jewels, but it would be financially stupid to turn them away.
Yeah.
The backlash would be possibly business ending.
It's just not going to happen.
It could, and I think that the key word right there at the end of it was possibly business ending if the World of Outlaws get too wrapped up in what High Limit Series is doing. But the World of Outlaws have added money to their purse, right?
Yeah, and they're going to continue to do things and make changes to make it better for their race teams at World of Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Because the competition on the other side is doing some things that the World of Outlaws didn't really have to do, but now are going to be forced into doing. Who's going to come out on the big end of this? I think it's the race teams. They're going to come out for the better of this. How this is going to affect the race fans, that's still yet to be determined, because when you split up the high-level group of World of Outlaw drivers that travel the whole country and go to all of these events, when you go to a normal World of Outlaw event, not the Crown Jewel events
right.
at Knoxville and other events, you're not going to see necessarily all of the top drivers, because they're going to be racing the same night in a High Limit Series somewhere else. So you're splitting up the fan attention in a certain way by doing this that wasn't there before. But you know what? Late models have been doing this for years.
Right.
They've had the Lucas Oil Late Model Series and the World of Outlaws
They've
Series.
been jumping back and forth all the time.
There's been late model racers all
right.
over the country. And I think what this is going to do, Scott, it's going to raise the number of racers that are going to be able to go out and race full time in 410 sprint car racing.
Hold on a second.
Because the money is going to be higher.
Let me ask you this, Kurt. Do you think this is going to create more 410 drivers?
Yeah. Yeah, what it's going to do is create more 410 level teams that are going to be able to run a full national schedule of races.
You don't agree with me
because the money is higher than it.
You don't agree with me that it's going to fracture 410 sprint car racing.
Well, it's fractured it in the short term,
yeah,
for sure. But if you've got another entity, the High Limit Series, putting out big level money, as is the World of Outlaws, what that's going to do is grow the pie, not keep it the way it is.
Right, yeah.
There's too many people that think that the pie remains the same and you're splitting it off. That's going to hurt both sides. Though what's going to do is increase the pie and make it to where more people are going to be able to participate because the money is going to be there.
Well, I know of a team, and I'm not going to mention them by name, but I know of a team that is a 360 team right now, and they're thinking about taking all their resources, their motors, and maybe buying a 410.
Sure.
Because there's many opportunities to go run with the high limit series, and this is a team that's out west, and there's a lot of opportunities to run with the high limit series out there, right?
Yeah. Well, they're having the West Coast events are going to be in late August. With the Gold Cup, and they're going to go to Skagit Speedway over Labor Day weekend, and then hustle 2,000 miles across country to Port Royal Speedway right after that.
Right.
The World of Outlaws are going to be out in California in the month of September. So if you're a West Coast 410 racer,
right,
you can race all the high limit events in August, and then the World of Outlaws will be out there in the month of September. There's like a full month of big money 410 events when you combine both the high limit and the World of Outlaws, that a West Coast 410 racer can just race those events and continue with the NARC series
Kirk,
and other events out there, and they're going to have more money to go for by going to race all of those events than they've ever had before if you're a West Coast-based 410 racer.
Right. I would like to go back to Skagit and watch the 410 race up there.
Yeah.
We can always stay at the Tulip Inn, right? The Tulip Inn.
I've heard you talk about the Tulip Inn. I've never been there before, so I just heard you talk about it.
Right, yeah, I've been there before. So I'm thinking right now, I can't believe how many teams have left the World of Outlaws to go run with the high limit series. Are you a little taken back by that, Kirk, a little bit?
Well, no. I mean,
Rico running
Rico wasn't a full-time World of Outlaw driver to begin with.
That's true.
He raced a pure outlaw schedule. He kind
of like Brian Brown.
Brian Brown, the same thing. I don't really look for Brian Brown to run that full time. I don't look for him to take sides.
Brian.
I look for Brian Brown to continue doing what he's been doing.
I think Brian Brown wants to concentrate on Knoxville, right?
Yeah.
And try to win the championship up there.
Well, I don't know about that, but he has won championships without running all the races up there, too.
He has. He's won the championship by skipping a couple races along the way.
I don't know if he'll, focus in on the Knoxville championship, but I just don't see Brian Brown changing what he's been doing. There's enough 410 events that he can go to, and he won't have to go to California at all.
Hey, listen,
There's no reason for Brian Brown to go to California.
Brian Brown wants to exceed the amount of wins that Danny Lasowski has. That's what his goal is.
Well, you're fixated on that. I'm not sure he is. I don't think.
Listen. I talked to Danny Lasowski about it, and Danny says that he hopes that he breaks his record. Do you think he can do it?
He's got a long way to go.
He's got a long ways to go.
Even Brian admitted himself that that's a pretty tall hurdle to reach.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you're the one that's fixated on that. I'm not sure Brian is as focused on it as you are.
Well, I'm fixated on it. Just so you know.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to get. Danny Lasowski's all-time win number at Knoxville, I don't think it's attainable right now. I don't think that'll be beaten. That's a record. That's like Richard Petty's 200 wins in NASCAR. That's a record that just won't be broken. That's what I think.
I'm not sure about that. Brian Brown could get on a roll and win a lot of races.
But you mentioned, are you surprised? I don't think there's been all that many World of Outlaw defections. If you look at it, Donnie Schatz is back. David Grabble is back. Sheldon Hodenshield come back. Logan Schuart, Gio Scelzi. All of those guys are back. The only one that has really, well, there's two drivers that's defected World of Outlaws to High Limit, and that would be Brad Sweet and Jacob Allen.
Right.
Casey Kane is going to be full-time on the High Limit Series. He wasn't a full-time driver on the World of Outlaws last year. The 9 car has been a full-time car on the World of Outlaws Tour. So as far as that goes, that's 2 teams from Casey Kane Racing that's defected over to High Limit. But these other drivers weren't full-time World of Outlaw drivers that have committed to the High Limit Series. Corey Day, Justin Peck, he raced All-Stars and out Pennsylvania. Zeb Wise, the All-Star champion last year, who we're going to have on Monday, by the way, on Mostly Motorsports. Corey Eliason, who is driving, I think, he was not a full-time World of Outlaw driver. So there really hasn't been that many. Now we're still waiting to see officially what Carson Macedo and Phil Dietz, the 41 Jason Johnson team, are going to do.
Casey Kane run 45 of the 71 events.
Yeah, but he was not full-time.
Right.
He didn't run all the races.
Right.
But the 9 team has been a full-time team
Mm-hmm.
on the World of Outlaws Tour. So we haven't really had all that many defections from World of Outlaws over to High Limit, other than the 2 Casey Kane teams, and that's about it.
Allen, right?
And Jacob Allen.
Right.
And Shark Racing is splitting. One team, Logan Schuart with World of Outlaws, and Jacob Allen with the High Limit Series. So are you surprised about that Shark Racing would split and send one team to High Limit and keep the other one to the World of Outlaws? Bobby Allen.
No, not really. Not because they can take advantage of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
They got one team over there running the High Limit Series. They got one team running with the World of Outlaws. I think that's a good decision, really, to be honest with you. The only problem I have with that is when you have a 2-car team, you can always go over to the other car and find out what they're doing with their car if their car's a little bit better than you, right? You can always go back over there and say, hey, what are you doing with your car that makes your car so much better tonight than our car? And you can always kind of pick the brain of the other crew chief, right?
Now, there could be, and this hasn't been announced yet, but there could be that Shark Racing will field a second team on the World of Outlaws Tour, and the third team is Jacob Allen over on the High Limit Tour. So they might still...
What was the 1T car?
That Tanner Holmes, but I think he's got other plans next year.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. So, but there could be that possibility if they wanted to have a second car on the World of Outlaws Tour. They'd still have that with a different driver.
Matt on the YouTube page wants to know what Roth Motorsports is going to be.
We don't know yet. They have not announced.
They haven't announced what they're doing yet.
No. James McFadden, and we had Buddy Kofoid driving the other Roth Motorsports car.
Right.
We don't know what those two are going to do yet.
Hey, Kirk, there's your dog right there.
Bristol.
My dog loves Todd and Kirk, just so you know.
I think she wants to be on the show.
She just wants to be on the show.
Yeah. That's a good question. He brings up a good question. What's Roth Motorsports going to do? Last year they ran one full-time team, James McFadden, the 83 car, but Buddy Kofoid didn't run all of the races on the World of Outlaw Tour. So what's Buddy Kofoid going to do in the other Roth Motorsports car?
Hey, Kirk, do you know that my dog is just like Rico's dog, a golden doodle?
Rico's got a doodle?
He's got a golden doodle, right?
They're playful dogs.
A little too aggressive sometimes.
What's Spencer Baston going to do? The 5 team. They haven't announced for sure which direction they're going.
Well, I expect most of the teams that are run with the World of Outlaws to stay with the World of Outlaws.
And they have so far.
Because this is an opportunity that Brad Sweet is gone for them to win a championship, right?
Right.
Don't you feel like that this is a great opportunity for another team to win the championship?
There is, but there's different. And as Rico pointed out in that...
and Roth might be one of them.
Right. But as Rico pointed out in the interview that we saw on Jeremy Elliott's, SprintCarUnlimited.com, that with the charter system and revenue sharing, video streams, sharing revenues and so forth with High Limit, even though the tow money has been doubled on the World of Outlaws Tour, does the High Limit Series more than make up with that with revenue sharing and the charter system to raise the value of these race teams?
Right.
Is Roth Motorsports looking at that and making a decision in the long-term future that might be a better value for their race team to go with High Limit Series with all of the plans that they've got for revenue sharing and charter system and all of that? That still has yet to play out. And all of this is going to take some years to see how this all develops. You know the World of Outlaws is going to continue to make changes to their program and build on that. That's where I say competition is not a bad thing.
Right.
Because both sides are going to have to play off the other to compete for drivers over the next 4 or 5 years. But rest assured, folks, the World of Outlaws are not going away anytime soon.
Right. Yep.
They have a lot of money as well.
John Wilson says no two drivers like the same setup, and crew chiefs always keep a little something to themselves. But, I'm going to disagree with you, John. In sprint car racing, it's a little bit different because there's certain things that you can do with your shocks. You've got these bars that you run. It's not like a typical modified or a late model setup. It's more about the bars and people trying to get close to whatever bar they're running. And I see it all the time where people come over and pick their brains about what kind of setup they have on the cars. I've seen it happen many, many a times over the years.
But it must be said, at Knoxville, Eldora, the High Bank Nationals at Huset's, National Open at Williams Grove, Jacob Allen and Logan Schuart are going to be together at all of those events. Yep. So some of the big money events, those two drivers will still be in the pits together.
Marie says that there is a chance that this will be a great year for the World of Outlaw drivers. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, because we're going to get a new champion this year on the World of Outlaws.
Right, no doubt.
It'll change that dynamic. Brad Sweet is not going for his 6th in a row with the World of Outlaws. We're going to have a new champion in the World of Outlaws.
Yep, no doubt.
And, Brad Sweet's going to have some competition, too, over in the High Limit Series with Rico over there.
I can't believe that Brad Sweet didn't want to go for winning 6 championships in a row with the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, he's got bigger priorities. I've got a feeling that's more important to you than it is Brad Sweet.
I feel like that Brad Sweet is about ready to give up his driving career. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't think that's going to happen over the next 2-3 years. I think they've got a pretty solid relationship with Napa.
Oh, hold on, Kurt.
I don't think he's going to step out of the car anytime soon.
So what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go over there and win the championship with the High Limit Series. Isn't that going to turn people off a little bit if he starts winning those championships?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Kyle coming over to, these two guys own the series.
Right.
And they're racing in it. Does that turn some people off? Yes.
That totally turns me off.
That is a topic of conversation for sure.
Right.
Yeah, that does bother a lot of people.
Well, as you know, Kirk, I've never been in favor of anybody running a racetrack and having a family member race at that racetrack. I've been this way forever, haven't I?
You have been.
I've totally been that way.
But it can
I've
work.
never been in favor of allowing a family member to race at your racetrack, or dare I say it, the owner of the racetrack racing at the racetrack.
Well, I've seen experience with this. I worked for a promoter that his son raced, and it was not a problem. Why? Because he didn't get involved in the officiating of the races. He stayed out of it.
But it can always open up a can of worms there.
It can, but you got to stay out of it. Brad Sweet has assured everybody he's not going to be involved in the day-to-day operation of the on-track activity. He's going to stay out of it.
Listen, if you always side on, like when a topic comes up with a race driver that's racing at a track where their family member races at that racetrack, they've got to be more critical on that guy than anybody else at the racetrack. They have to be as critical as possible on the person that races at that racetrack that's a family member. They have to do that, right?
Yeah, it's a tough thing to navigate through, and I think there will be some issues down the road with Brad Sweet going for a championship in a series that he's a part owner of.
Right.
Kyle Larson ran into a little bit of a problem last year at Tri-City Speedway, if you remember. There was a decision. I can't remember all the circumstances involved, but Kyle came back and admitted, yeah, that was a mistake on my part. I got to stay out of that stuff.
Hey,
and
Todd.
So, but there are going to be issues that come up that will be a problem because these two guys are competing in the series that they own.
Todd, do we want to run that Brian Holbert interview?
Yeah, the Brian Holbert and the Trenton Berry one, both of them are, ASCS, pretty much kind of what we're.
Where do we want to start with?
I would start with the Brian Holbert. We can wrap up with Brian Holbert, and then, like you said, finish up with Trenton Berry when we have some time. So,
All right. All right, you want to lead into this, Kurt?
Yeah, the ASCS schedule was released last Sunday, and you looked through the schedule there, Scott. What are your thoughts about that? They're going to start out in Arizona at Kokopah Speedway in late January, and they're also going to return to Montana and Wyoming for a couple of races out there. What are your initial thoughts when you looked over this ASCS National Tour schedule for 2024?
Well, all I know is it stretches the pocketbook of some of these smaller teams to go, and I don't know if I've got this correct or not, but I'm hearing that those races at Kokopah and Central Arizona Speedway are going to be non-point races. So why would anybody want to go out there if these are non-point races?
I think that's smart not to make those point races because not everybody's going to have the funding to be able to travel.
I don't know if this is true or not. But I need to check in with Terry Maddox and find out if that's the case. But I'm hearing rumors floating around that those are going to be non-point races.
Yeah. Well, that could be. We'll get a clarification on that. And the two races are in Montana. I said Wyoming. Actually, Electric City Speedway and what's the other track out there in Gallatin Speedway. Those two
and they're going to North Alabama Speedway as well.
Yeah. And that's not like traveling out west.
No,
Alabama
no.
is a very doable thing. But Brian Holbert talked about the ASCS National Tour schedule for 2024, and here's a portion of that interview. We talked to Brian on Monday on Mostly Motorsports.
Brian, I've got to say, when I take a look at the schedule this year, there is a lot of $4,000 to win races, and there's a bunch of $5,000 to win races, and the Knoxville National 360 Nationals is going to pay $20,000 to win this year, right?
Yeah, and and that's what it paid last year, and plus you throw lap money on top of that, and then short track, that was supposed to be 20,000 last year, and unfortunately Mother Nature got the best of that. But I don't see Tim going backwards on that. Of course, I'm not saying that's what it's going to pay. I have not received all that confirmation yet, but the last year one of the goals was to get the purses up a little bit in 360 racing, and Terry accomplished some of that. He's trying to continue that this year with adding some more 5,000 win shows, making the bulk of them 4,000 a win, and just trying to add to it.
Right.
It's 410 racing. You're seeing a lot of purses go up, and Terry recognizes that needs to happen on the 360 side as well, and that's what he's been working on.
So did last year the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial pay 10,000 to win?
Yes,
it did. Okay. I wasn't sure of that. I'm so proud of what Terry has done with the series. He has done a magnificent job at really running the American Sprint Car Series, hasn't he?
He's done a good job, and he's, not only is the owner, he's the director, so he has that firsthand view of everything going on every night. And, sometimes I feel like maybe he's got himself spread a little bit too thin, but he's right in the middle of it, so he gets to see what's happening and gets to hear direct feedback, sometimes rather emotional,
right,
being at the racetrack, but it's all stuff that as somebody who runs and owns a series needs to know. And not only does he have that, he's got now 600 and and everything else that he does. So just this coming year between the two national series, he's got 100 shows.
Brian, you're getting the travel schedule back out there again, going out to open up the season out in Arizona, and you're heading back out into the Rocky Mountain area. Just kind of talk about expanding the schedule back and opening up at Kokopah Speedway in January.
That was the thing with everything that had been going on coming out of the pandemic, and recognizing that for our teams, it's tough to go coast to coast. And even when you guys were on the road with us, that's a hard schedule to run, going from all the way to the East Coast, all the way to the West Coast. And what we would see is about mid-season, we go from having about, 10 to 13 travelers, we drop down to about 7. And it was tough to get those guys back, because at that point, they're out of the point fund. They're out of the tow money. So, yeah, they're going to go find something else to do. And Emmett had started doing it even when he owned the series and consolidating back to the Midwest. And Terry was able to carry that, and we saw a larger following, better car counts, and it's allowed him to rebuild a little bit. And this year, as smartly as possible, adding some of those expanded dates and going back out to Montana, where there's really been a demand for us to go back out to Arizona at a time of the year where a lot of those guys, it's too far to travel to Florida.
Right.
So we'll give them something to go out and race and race for some decent money.
Right. And you're going to Gallatin and Electric City Speedway, and we haven't been the ASCS National Tour hasn't been back to Electric City Speedway in some time, right?
2015.
2015.
So,
and that was a great race that night. That, if I remember right, there was 3 leaders on the last lap of that race, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, that was an absolutely insane race. And I don't know if you remember the first time we went there, Joe Raymaker about whooped up on everybody.
He did, yeah.
So you're going to Texas Motor Speedway. Talk about that. And, Devil's Bowl Speedway not around anymore. You're still going to be in the Dallas Metroplex area, and this time Texas Motor Speedway for 3 dates. How big is that for you?
It's neat to see that the dirt track is still operational. I mean, it's been off and on, and for them, and this year they're coming out with a bang, because they've got outlaw races, they've got high limits races, they've got ASCS races. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And what's good about that is the track is going to get more use, and it's just going to get better. I know that was one of the big criticisms of the surface, is the lack of use just made it so hard and so abrasive. It was hard to put on a really good show. Well, now you're going to have people out there working it and getting it loosened up and ready to go, specifically for sprint car racing. And that's one of the things is, you run a modified or a late model show, you need the track to be a little bit harder. For a sprint car show, you need to be just a little bit softer to give these guys something to work with. So I'm really glad about that. And the other thing, too, is being able to work in some different tracks like RPM Speedway. That's one that, I mean, personally, I've wanted to go to for years. It's a really quick, cool little quarter mile. You know, what Neighbors and everybody and Martin have done down there to build that track back up. I'm really looking forward to that one as well.
Hey, Brian, let me get off topic just a little bit. What do you think about the High Limit Series taking on the World of Outlaws this year? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen it done before,
right?
And we've seen the results of it. And I'm not foreshadowing, and I'm not saying anything bad about either series. It's going to be interesting. Sometimes competition is good.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, we see the results of it. So, but if it gives the teams another option, and it gives tracks another option that maybe, you know, they weren't sure about running a show, but they want to try something different, and it works out, then it's better for the sport.
Right.
But that's it's good. I think everybody, even the establishment, is kind of taking a step back and just going, all right, let's, you know, they've run a small midweek deal. Now let's see what it's like running a full out schedule.
Right. No doubt about it. Me personally, you know, I've seen 410 racing making a little bit of a comeback, but I'm afraid that in my eyes, I'm afraid this is going to fracture 410 racing a little bit in my eyes.
Well, and it goes back to the problem with racing in general is people are too quick to draw battle lines. You know,
right.
It's you have to be either 410 or you have to be 360 or you have to be Outlaws or you have to be Posse or you have to be knock. You know, you can't just be a fan. You can't just be a racer.
Right. Yeah.
You know, everybody has to draw a battle line. In my opinion, when everybody decides that they actually just want to race and race for the betterment of racing, that's when the sport will take care of itself.
Yeah.
But as long as we're sitting back drawing battle lines, then it's never gonna progress as a sport. And I'm kind of the enigma. I don't care if it's a slot car race, a tuner race, or a modified or a sprint car race. I just want to see something go ahead and done.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. I feel like we've got to take a wait and see approach right now, and just watching the World of Outlaws and watching the High Limit Series, and just see how they function together. Because, and I don't know if you know this or not, Brian, but the High Limit Series takes the entire month of March off. I just don't understand that. I see them gaining momentum all the way up until February, and then they take the entire month off in March.
Well, having experienced up-teen rainouts through the months of March and April, I can understand completely.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we'll see how many they get in, too. But, you know, Brian, don't you think that most racers don't really like drawing battle lines either? If you put out good money and give the racer a great experience, they'll show up where the money's at,
right,
where they think they can win. Don't at the way most racers feel?
Racers are going to race.
Yeah.
To quote Joe Duval, racers are going to race.
Right, no doubt.
And, you know, it's politics bore me. I understand if as a person who helps with a series, when you make a commitment to a series, you need to follow through in that commitment.
Right.
But one thing about ASCS, even from Emmett all the way to Terry, is, hey, tell me you're going to run. As long as you show up, you're fine. Now, we do have our 24-hour rule, and that is to obviously protect the national race, because if you go run somewhere, wad your stuff up, and you can't race, well, that's not good.
Right, no doubt.
But, as long as you can get it done, you can get it done. But,
right.
And I understand the position of the Outlaws of like, hey, if you're going to run our series, run our series.
Yep.
Just like if you're running, whether it's World of Outlaw late models or Lucas late models, but that's where we all need to work together and not book on top of each other.
And you have a responsibility. I was going to say you have a responsibility to the race fan to let them know who's going to be racing at your event, do you not?
No, that's the point of the series. We're there to promote our drivers.
Right, no doubt.
You know, that's why, you know, if you look at the end of every national press release, there is a full list of our drivers who say, yes, they're national drivers.
Yeah, no doubt. And our good friends over at Racing Dirt, they're going to have all the coverage for you with the American Sprint Car Series this year, right?
Indeed, Stick and Trent, they came on and have done an absolutely fantastic job. And is it as big as Flow? No, it's not.
Right.
Not by a long shot.
No doubt.
The quality, the production, the ease of setup, and I'm looking at it from my point of view as somebody who is providing content to a broadcast. When I roll in, it's going to be Michael Jackson's my producer. Cordell's going to be my top camera. If Heather's available, she might do infield. We might have a couple other people doing infield, but it's going to have a 2 or 3 camera shoot nearly every time. I know exactly where to set my board. They know exactly where to hook up. We know exactly what time we're going to test and do everything. And it was great. I didn't have any complaints the entire rest of the year as far as setup, audio, video. And obviously there's going to be technical difficulties because guess what? Technology sometimes sucks.
All right, there you have it. That's Brian Holbert talking about the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour.
And I want to say something. He mentioned Michael Jackson.
Right.
That's a great guy right there.
Oh, no doubt.
And he
worked for us many times.
He understands sprint car racing. We worked with him. And, the setup that they got down there with those guys, I'm happy that it's working out for the ASCS. Racing Dirt doing a great job.
Yep, no doubt. Michael has worked for us. How many years did he work for us?
I don't too many to count. He's a great guy to work with, no doubt.
So anyway, so
I got to make a correction.
Right,
Pete, you're absolutely right, and we stand corrected. Dale Blaney is not retired. He's still racing out there.
Right. He won 4 races last year.
He won 4 races last year. He drove the number 32 car for Jerry Barris racing, Pennsylvania-backed racer. Won a couple of races at Sharon. 4 races total last year.
He ran 33 races in 2023 and won 4 of them.
So he's not retired at all. Now, I guess what I got. You remember, what was that, 2020? He didn't have a ride, so he became an official for the All-Star Series.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't race at all in, I think, 2020, but I think he came back. He's not a full-time national tour, he didn't travel the whole All-Star circuit and all of that, but I stand corrected. He is not retired. Dale Blaney, at 59 years old, still out there doing it and winning races.
Kirk, maybe some of the biggest news that has come down in area racing here this week is that Lakeside is going to drop the A-mods, right?
They made that announcement. Of course, we had Ralph Palmer, the new general manager on Lakeside, on this show 1 week ago, breaking that news, that the A-mods will not be full-time at Lakeside Speedway. We're not surprised about that. On a lot of nights, they drew 7-8 cars. At best, maybe 15, 16 at the very best. That wasn't very often.
And for the people that know, there's going to be a touring series that's going to be going through there as well, right, Kirk? And they're trying to make sure they're going to get the Grant Youngin Memorial race over there, right?
For the USMTS. But,
right.
The MLRA late models are going to be at Lakeside Speedway next year, along with the Malvern Bank late model series and the new Heartland Modified Tour. I think they're going to be there a couple of times this year. So the full schedule hasn't been posted yet on lakesidespeedway.net, but they think by the end of the month that the full schedule will be up there. But at least we know now some of the major, and the ASCS is going to be there again Friday of Memorial Weekend, the ASCS National Tour.
Right.
But not the World of Outlaws.
Kirk, Marie says, I think he raced 2 during the time with the All-Stars, not many.
Yeah, he didn't run the full All-Star circuit. He raced some All-Star races, but not the whole circuit like he did in the past.
You're wiggling your way out of that one.
Well, I was wrong.
Right.
We said he was retired. No, he's not retired as a driver.
No doubt about it.
I just didn't see him race a lot. The races that I watched last year, I just didn't see him a lot. So, when you're out of sight, out of mind. But he was out there racing races. We just didn't see the races that he was in.
Right.
Winning.
Patrick says, I will watch the American Sprint Car Series. We raced in Tucson and Manzi. Did not know there was a track between. Don't know how long it's been, but there is a
Casa Grande.
Aren't
they racing a couple of nights here?
They are.
Central Arizona Speedway?
That is Central Arizona Speedway. Yeah, they're going to run there.
Yeah. The following weekend after Kokopah.
I might have a hotel sponsor for that race, Kurt, just so you know.
So you're going to drive out there or fly out?
I don't know. Maybe fly out if I got if I got transportation to get around. Then
you have to rent a car.
Then I don't have to rent a car. If I get a hotel room and not have to rent a car, that would be the best case scenario.
Get a sponsor for all of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That would be what to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no doubt.
You thinking about taking the new camper down to the Tulsa for the Chili Bowl?
I'm not. I haven't made up my mind on that one yet. I've got to talk to Matt and see if there's any room down there for that.
They got that campground not too far away.
Yeah.
You'd like to be outside the building, though, wouldn't you?
I'd like to get out of the building a time or two just to get some out of the fumes. Fumes have never made me sick at the Chili Bowl.
No, and
not once.
And you know what? It's better now than it's ever been. In the early days, that was an issue. But I haven't had after effects from the Chili Bowl for a number of years now because of the investments in the ventilation system at the SageNet Center, they call it now. So it's, every year, Scott, we used to come back and, we kind of felt the after effects of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of years since I felt the after effects of the Chili Bowl, but that's just me.
Yeah. I've never felt any after effects.
Other than the flu epidemic that rolled through there many years ago. That's before COVID.
I got sick down there one year. Remember that?
You did.
I had the flu. Remember that?
But that was before the events even started, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So no, I've gone. It's been at least 5 years, certainly before the COVID-19 pandemic, that I've felt any after effects from being at the Chili Bowl.
Kirk, you want to set up Trenton Berry?
Trenton Berry is, we've talked about him a little bit, man. They've got a lot of things going on at RacingDirt.com. He and Austin Kruger own RacingDirt.com. Big time streaming service now for the USMTS, and now some other series and other things going on. And we talked to Trenton Berry a lot here at Racing Boys, and he's going to be part of the broadcast team at the Gateway Nationals coming up next weekend. And we spoke with Trenton last Monday on Mostly Motorsports, and here's a little bit of that conversation.
We just got done talking to Brian Hobart about the 2024 ASCS National Tour schedule. Man, that schedule is loaded with a bunch of $5,000 to win races, isn't it?
Man, it really is. It looks great. Just blessed to be a small part of that thing. That's been a terrific relationship, and a series that I know you guys hold dear to your hearts. You always had and always will. And I'm kind of proud to help showcase kind of that next era of that tour. And Terry's taken on after a legend, and I'm so appreciative of the foundation you guys laid for what we were able to do with Racing Dirt. So it's pretty cool to be involved with, and I'm not going to lie to you. And Scott, I know that when I was still kind of wet behind the ears, I wasn't the biggest sprint car guy, and this has nothing to do with business, but I am paying more attention to it now, and I can tell you this: I really enjoy. Over the years, I have opened my eyes to the entire cross section of motorsports, whether it's weekly racing with stock cars, whether it's open wheel stuff with sprint cars. I really enjoy it, and I've grown to love that tour and our involvement with it. I'm just so appreciative for the opportunity there.
As you know, I spent 13 years out on that tour, and it's near and dear to my heart, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know it is.
Yeah, so, I've got a lot of miles I've traveled up and down the road with that national tour, and let me just say this. You guys have been doing a great job over there doing the broadcast for them.
Well, and I appreciate that. We're, as the tour grows and viewership grows and all that, we got plans to do even more. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love two identical crews, one for the USMTS and one that could operate on that same level for ASCS. And I really, I'm not just trying to lip service. I think we're going to get there with it. I don't know that it'll be this year, but I think this year will be a little better than last year. And I'm just looking to build on it too. And what Stick and I kind of in this phase of racing dirt and what we're doing is, we're really looking to be, just kind of got pigeonholed as the video guys for a lot of years, and always wanted to be more involved and to do more things and to kind of work a little more towards dealing with our own fate. In the media world, you got a lot of fate up in the air, and it's in the hands of a lot of other people, and it's no different than the networks broadcasting college sports and professional sports and all that. But I just wanted to get a little more in control of our own destiny a little bit. And, man, we've just partnered with some great people all the way around. And I was tickled to death. We're able to take the ASCS to Wisconsin for the first time ever. And I'm telling you, they are going to rip around the Mississippi Thunder Speedway in September. And they're going to back that up the next night. That racetrack in Decorah, Iowa, that's one of the best little bull rings around. That thing's a circle. Those guys they're never going to be straight more than just the time it take you to snap your fingers, and it's going to present quite a challenge. And to our knowledge, the people I've talked to at Decorah, they have never had any kind of open wheel race at that racetrack that anybody can recall. So that's really cool. Mississippi Thunder is going to announce another one early in the season, not an ASCS race, but they haven't had a lot of open wheel stuff right there too. And Bob and Tyrone, they'll keep that racetrack tacked up, and it'll be just on fire that night for that race. So.
All right, Trent, we want to talk about this, the new Heartland Modified Tour, but first things first, the most breaking news, the USMTS national schedule was released yesterday. What are your thoughts about 2024 on the USMTS National Tour?
Yeah, a lot of familiar places and a lot of places we hadn't been in a while, a few of those too. So I think there's only a couple new racetracks on that thing that I hadn't been to. I have not yet been to Beatrice, which is going to be fantastic. And what's the other one? Fairmont, Minnesota, I believe, is the other one that I hadn't been to. I don't have it right here in front of me, but when I was looking at it, I think we've been to most places at some point, but man, just another cross section of great racetracks. Really, right. I'm super pumped to go get after it and see what the year's going to have in store. We added the Racing Dirt TV Challenge as well, which it kind of got buried in that press release, but there's a separate story on the USMTS website, but. Drivers with perfect attendance, and they're going to have to meet a couple other criteria through their social media. But we've established a pool of $30,000 that we're going to distribute evenly amongst the perfect attendance drivers at the banquet next year too, just to try to help offset some of the travel expense and just another way to show our appreciation. We pay these racetracks a lot of money to stream these races. We make a pretty good investment in the USMTS through sponsorship and rights fees that go to the USMTS too, and kind of that last one hanging out there with the drivers. And we wanted to do something. Right. We're not really in a spot to sponsor individually. That just kind of opens yourself up to a lot of questions and things that really don't need to happen in our situation. But when we had the chance to put something together that could benefit everybody that supports that series, on a full-time basis. We were really excited. We took this program to Todd, and we talked through 2 or 3 different things that we'd like to do, and he was all for it. So I hope that is reciprocated by the racers, that they'll appreciate what's going on there. And I really, above all else, it's going to make the tour stronger. So I hope that the promoters are able to see that this money directed to these racers is an investment in those races and those specific events on a night-to-night basis as well.
$100,000 to the champion. That's the same they paid out last year, right, to Rodney Sanders?
Yeah, and did it in honor of and kind of in memory of Leon Ramirez that passed away. Yep, been $100,000 the past 2 years, and it'll be the Leon Ramirez Championship Trophy awarded at the banquet. Rodney's got it this year. Boy, he was on fire this year. It's one of those years where he just didn't matter what was thrown his way. He just really couldn't miss, and we've seen that more times than not over the course of his career. And he was on fire and very much a deserving champion. He's a very honorable champion. He is great for the USMTS, great for racing. Rodney's really big. What's cool beyond the surface of Rodney Sanders is Rodney and his dad are super involved in several other drivers' programs, guys they regularly compete against, and guys that are kind of more local racers around where Rodney is. And they help a bunch of people, advice and parts and equipment and knowledge. And Rodney's just, man, he's everything. When you think about a champion representing a series and doing everything that he needs to do, he just checks off every box on the list. And,
right.
It is a hell of a year for that 20 team.
Trenton, I want to talk a little bit about Heartline Modified Tour formed, and it's an American Racer USRA Modified Series acquired. Tell me about this and what Racing Dirt has, how you guys are involved in this.
Yep. So the USRA American Racer Modified Series. Now that's kind of a tongue twister. It'll be in its what is this going to be? It's going to be its 3rd year, I believe. 3rd year of operation, maybe it's 4th year of operation, 3rd or 4th year here. Anyway, it was started a few years ago. Todd and Janet Staley started it as a regional USRA modified tour, racing around Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, in that general area. Lots of races in Texas, a few in Oklahoma. Centered kind of around Dallas-Fort Worth. There's a lot of racetracks in the DFW area and a lot of cars. So, but they've ran a little bit here and there down in the South, and it just was kind of coming to the point. Todd had talked to us in the middle of the year about maybe doing something a little different with it. Stick and I and then Eric Chesterman, who was running it, were pretty adamant that, hey, we need to make sure this thing stays after it, and we just didn't really know what the future was, and Todd wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do, and so it was just easier. And we talked to him along the whole way from the middle of the season on, and what that could look like if we were able to purchase that from them. And I'll tell you, just like in everything else, he's fantastic to work with. He is the best consultant that we can deal with. He knows the ins and outs of all of it. Guys, he even went so far as he negotiated with us a little bit on price to get it to a point where we could afford to get it and operate it. And then he also worked with us on the terms too. So, man, you talk about a business transaction. It couldn't be any easier to work with. And he's 100% behind it. USRA is too. And we told him, we said, okay, so if we're going to do this and really get heavily involved in the operations, we'd like to do something for Missouri, Kansas, northern Oklahoma as well. That ARMS series was kind of southern Oklahoma. So,
yeah.
So if we're going to do one, you might as well do two, basically, is what we came up with. And I don't know that we need a ton more special events. I can tell you Eric Chesterman had the goal of putting 22 dates on the Heartland calendar, and I think he's got 16 or 18 of them done right now for a brand new tour.
Right.
I've talked to a handful of racers that are planning on running it next year. The point funds are going to be similar. Obviously, a little bit of that will be sponsorship dependent. Figuring out what we can do there. So the press release didn't have a finite number. We've got kind of a target number in our head that we're going to work towards, and we're going to do our best to make sure we can try to get there. So that's all going to be paid out at the end of the year. with this. So earmarking 22 dates of tours, what we're looking at. You guys don't even like breaking news, do you? Do you like breaking news?
We love
breaking
Bring
news.
I'll give you something today. I had a phone call with a gentleman, and I can't put this one out just quite yet, but pretty good idea where the Arms Series is going to start next year. But I can tell you with certainty. Let me get my calendar pulled up here on my phone. The Heartland Modified Tour, first two races are going to be, so this will be the premiere of the series, April 12th and April the 13th as part of the Battle at the Bull Ring at the Humboldt Speedway.
How about
John
that?
John Allen and JR were fantastic. They were some of the ones that helped and talked to us along the way. And, JR's even offered to call some other promoters. John Allen's offered to talk to some other people about it too. John's been talking to some racers in the area, and they said it would be really special to them, which meant the world to be able to host the first two dates. So they're going to be Friday, April 12th and Saturday, April 13th. The Battle at the Bull Ring is going to be a 3-day race. It's going back to more of its traditional format as a standalone event. So the modifieds are going to be the support class for that weekend, which is
right,
perfectly fine. So it's going to start on the 11th. So it's going to go 11th, 12th, 13th for the Battle at the Bull Ring. For the B-Mods, the modifieds are going to run all 3 nights. The first night's going to be just a track night for their regular weekly purse, and kind of a tune-up for the next two, 12th and 13th, and those races are both going to be $2,000 to win about. So
yeah,
that's the standard purse. It'll be $2,000 to win races on these. So
Trenton,
pretty pumped about that.
Trenton, I didn't see the USMTS on the Lakeside schedule. What's going on there?
So I didn't either, and I know they've talked. So I was kind of surprised about that too. I don't really know, to be quite honest.
Well, we were confirmed by Ralph Palmer. We had him on Friday or Saturday morning show, and he said USMTS are working out the dates on it. And he also told us that the Heartland Modified Tour was going to be coming to Lakeside Speedway.
Is that correct?
Yeah, so I can speak for 100% on the Heartland Modified Tour, so that's great. I didn't hear that part. I listened to a bunch of the show, but I didn't hear that part of it. But yes, scheduled to go a couple times to Lakeside, at least tentatively. That's what's been agreed to there. For that tour, I don't know on the USMTS, to be totally honest with you. I think there are probably – I'll be more surprised if there's not an addition to the schedule. Now, I don't have any inside information on it, but I just can't imagine that we go a whole year and don't have a date on the schedule.
Well, he said
I think something will probably get done there. So I just don't know right now.
Hey, one other question I was going to ask you. The Featherlight Fall Jamboree wasn't able to be finished at Deer Creek this year. They did say that they were going to finish it in early 2024. Are they going to come back and finish up the 2023 edition of the Featherlight Fall Jamboree?
I think it is there. Isn't it right there in April? I haven't looked at the
April 26th and 27th. You're right about that. Yep.
Yeah,
25th.
I believe. Yeah,
I
think
see
that's
it.
right where they were going to put it. So that was the plan. Just as early as they could race in Minnesota, they wanted to get it on the schedule and bring that thing to a conclusion. So then the 24 Jamboree for that season has moved up a couple of weeks too. It's now on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. Trenton, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us on the show today, man. RacingDirt.com is the place to watch the ASCS National Tour races, and they do a great job of doing these races. Hey, just let me know if I need to put an application in over there, okay? Because it sounds like you got a lot of work going on over there.
We're just trying to stay busy. I love this sport. Dick loves this sport. Our staff loves this sport, and just trying to figure out ways to be a little more involved in it. And the crazy thing about racing is it takes everybody to make it happen, but it also takes everybody that can to do something to give back to it, to try to keep it strong and healthy. And we've made significant financial contributions to the sport, both on and off the record, and we have made huge influxes of revenue into racetracks over the years where we've worked at, and some of it just as a flat sponsorship too. So I really was kind of looking to take that next step to figure out what it was we can do. And I'm, our mod racing around our part of the country here has kind of been down a little bit, and I'm just hopeful maybe this is the thing. I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to, and I'm not the smartest guy at the table. I'm not the most intelligent in the room, but I can tell you if we have a way to figure out to try to do something to help going forward, that's what Stick and I are committed to doing for dirt racing.
All right, there you have it. That's Trenton Berry from RacingDirt.com, the home of the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. If you want to watch that race, that's the place to watch it. Plus, they run a ton of USMTS races and USRA races as well.
And, the other bit of news, since we had Trenton on Monday, they're part owners of that Mississippi Thunder Speedway up there in Wisconsin. They're going to schedule a $100,000 to win modified show up there, XR Plus, at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. So that's big news. And the other big news that came out yesterday, we want to touch on this before we go. Lucas Oil Late Model Series announced their format for 2024. Last year, you remember, it was the Final Four determined for one race at the Dirt Track World Championship at Eldora. Well, it's still going to be a Final Four, but there are 7 races that those 4 drivers will determine the championship. Over 7 races, they'll determine the Final Four at the Late Model Knoxville Nationals in September, which I'm happy that that's not the same weekend as the Jesse Hockett Daniel McMillan Memorial Race. Now you can go to both of them, Scott.
I plan on going. We
can go to both events next year.
I plan on going to Eldora next year.
And Knoxville Late Model Nationals.
And the Knoxville Late Model Nationals.
So
as well.
The Late Model Knoxville Nationals, when they'll determine the Final Four, and then over 7 races after that at Brownstown, Atomic Speedway, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, the grand finale at East Bay Raceway Park, and then the Dirt Track World Championship at Eldora. $200,000 for the Lucas Oil Late Model champion last year. It was Hudson O'Neal. So it's not just going to be one race. It's going to be 7 races to determine the Lucas Oil Late Model title next year.
How about that?
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a great idea. What do you think?
Yeah, because a lot of drivers, we heard Bobby Pierce said, I don't want to go race for that Final Four thing. That's not, don't think that's the way it ought to be. Bobby, he's going to be World of Outlaw driver.
Bobby Pierce doesn't want it to depend on luck, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it boils down to?
Yeah, and I think this is more, I think Ricky Thornton Jr.'s got to be happy about this move, I would think, because he was by far and away the best driver on the whole circuit last year, but he didn't walk away with the championship because he had a bad moment in that race at Eldora. Right. So I think the drivers are going to be a lot more receptive to this.
All right, we got to let Todd get out of here. He's got plans today. This is a big day for you.
Congratulations to Zoe.
Yep, Zoe's graduating.
How about that?
And my last kid at KU, so no more KU funds going out the door.
Your son's going to MU.
Probably MU. So far, we haven't committed. But
haven't committed yet.
Isn't Missouri playing Kansas in basketball today?
I believe so.
All right.
And I was told that if you were going to try to go get food after the graduation, probably not want to do it in Lawrence today because it's going to be a little busy because
a little packed
because of the basketball game. So
right.
Yeah,
all right.
Probably not going to be eating in Lawrence today.
Okay. All right. We got to let Todd get out of here. And congratulations, Todd, on your daughter's graduation, man. That is something special.
I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah. All right.
We'll be here Monday.
All right. We'll be back here Monday on Mostly Motorsports. We hope that you all tune in. And who we got on Monday?
Zeb Wise, the reigning All-Star champion, now going to run High Limits, going to be on our show.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you Monday on Mostly Motorsports.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.